It underscores the prevailing notion that one's worth is intrinsically tied to their economic output. The masterful culmination of this thematic portrayal lies in Rhyme's closing action. Hello, I'm Stubidubins, and today I'll be playing Pokemon Scarlet with my trusty companion, Sprigatito. Will my grass-type good boy, spelled B-O-I, prove to be king of the jungle, or will he flame out in a blaze of glory? That was a pun, by the way, because fire starters get the ability Blaze, but I've got a grass starter, so it should be Overgrow of Glory. Sprigatito is our grass-type starter for this region and boasts a well-balanced stat distribution and hits that sweet spot for speed stat with 65, which I've mentioned before is right around where you want it to be able to outspeed most things in these games. It can go the physical route with moves like Hone Claws and Seed Bomb, or opt for a more special approach with Nasty Plot and Energy Ball. Or it can even take on a stall-oriented strategy with Grassy Surge and Leech Seed, a tactic that I'll employ at least once during this run. But the real game changer for this mon is its S tier ability, Protean, which allows Sprigatito to change its type to match the first non-grass type move it uses. When combined with Terastallization, it opens the door to some seriously strategic plays that we'll explore later in this playthrough. Without further ado, let's dive right in. So we completely skipped over Katy with that intro. The fight is pretty simple, just spam acrobatics and also get a defensive flying type from Protean. I honed my cat's claws a decent amount, but I can't really imagine anything surviving anyway. That was mainly to just pad out video time. Next is Brassius, whom I love. He uses the word avant-garde in two different and both equally incorrect ways, and I actually think that's really cool. Everyone should have that type of self-confidence. Throw a big word out there. They probably don't know what it means either, and you look smart. It's very serendipitous. For Brassius, it is a similar strategy to Katy, except his Sudowoodo has the ability Sturdy, so there's no point in setting up because I am physically unable to one-shot it. I'm pretty sure a rock throw from the Sudowoodo will knock me out, but for some reason it goes for Trailblaze instead, so my kitty comes home with a victory. Next is Iono, who continues the trend of third gym leaders who specialize in electric types and are kinda difficult. It's happened once before with Watson, and here we are again. Cue sad surge music. For this fight, I'm bringing in some new tech with Mudslap. Turn 1, you can see me go for Mudslap against the Wattrel, who is a flying type. This was not a misclick. The reason I went for this is so that I could become ground type without having to worry about it paralyzing me with Spark, which seemed to happen every single time before I went with this strategy. The only damaging move Wattrel has against me is Pluck, and that does minor damage, allowing me to get to +6 with Nasty Plot, Terra, and then Sweep. By the way, I'm running both Terra Blast and Energy Ball because I want a neutral hitting attack to hit Wattrel with before I Terra, and Terra Blast does that. I can outspeed everything and one-shot even the Mismagus at 110B speed. Remember what I said before? I've mentioned before, is right around where you want it to be able to outspeed most things in these games. That was foreshadowing. I've got some extra time, and people like tier lists, so I was thinking I would make a tier list of every gym leader's pose they hit right before they throw out their first Pokemon. First up is Katy. And as we'll see relatively quickly, I am a sucker for this camera spinning around the character thing that they like to do here. I think it looks really cool, adds a lot of dynamism to the intro. Other than that, this intro doesn't do much. It paints her character as like a wholesome yet determined battler, which I think is about all the character gets in terms of personality. I would put her intro at a solid B tier. Next, as Brassius, and he does not spin, which I don't like. I think it's kind of weird that it opens his intro with a straight up crotch shot. Also, where does he get this whip? What is it for? It's a C tier for me. Next is Iono, who I have previously said that I love. I think it's hilarious that Game Freak put a Pokemon streamer into their video game. I really like how it starts off with her Magnemite hairpiece, spins left into her winking at the camera, and then spins the opposite way while she twirls. The fake out spin, I think, really adds a sense of unease and uncertainty you get with interacting with Iono. And then it just ends off with the most insane smile I have ever seen. S tier. Perfect, no notes. Okay, so I'm halfway into Kofu's fight. The idea for this one was the same as the last. I open with Nasty Plot, hoping Vizula goes for Psychic Fangs, so I can catch it and get a free +2. I'm checking my notes right now. Doesn't have that, so never mind. For some reason it has Pluck. Last time I checked, fish aren't birds. I'll double check with the research team and get back to you on that one though. This one's pretty free though. The only issue is the Wug Trio outspeeds my cat, so theoretically it could do something. As you see, it doesn't. The fix for this, if the Wug ever decided to try anything, would be to run Trailblaze. Anyway, back to the more important thing. What's Kofu's intro's ranking? I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this one. He really doesn't do much of anything, and I also don't think it matches his character very well. He's a big goofball, and for some reason, he looks real stern and like he kind of has to poop here. I don't understand what they're going for. C tier. Next up is Larry. I've talked extensively about Larry and what he says about our capitalist system, so I won't get into that here. So let's go right into the strategy. I went with a bit of a cheeky cheese set on this one, something I wanted to show you all. First off, you can see I'm on an air balloon. This is because when I Terra Ghost, Larry's second Mon, the Dunsparce, cannot touch me with its mix of ground and normal type moves. I'm also running Overgrow for the first time over Protean. This is because when my cat is in Overgrow range, it can one-shot this koala. There's multiple things wrong with this strategy. I went with 1, it heals your party before you start a gym, so pre-damaging my cat to be in Overgrow range doesn't work. And 2, the movie Glare, even though it is a normal type move, it can hit ghost types and paralyze them. So what I wanted to do was be Terra Electric, not Terra Ghost. Terra Electric and an air balloon completely walls the Dunsparce, not Terra Ghost. Well, the koala tries to put me to sleep, so I can easily 2-shot it, and the Dunsparce can only paralyze me, so I can set up to +6, and then 1-shot it and the Straptor. What is Larry's ranking? A particularly striking element of his intro is the emphasis on Larry's briefcase, which is seemingly inseparable for him, even moments before a battle commences. I think this symbolizes the pervasive struggle that many individuals encounter within the capitalist system, where the pursuit of multiple jobs does not necessarily equate to significant advancement. The constant need to be in perpetual motion, always prepared to contribute to society's productivity, is palpable. It underscores the prevailing notion that one's worth is intrinsically tied to their economic output, a stark reflection on our modern societal pressures. Furthermore, the moment when Larry casually adjusts his tie is rich in symbolism also. It signifies his desire to regain control within a system that, to some extent, has dominated him. It represents his assertion of autonomy over his appearance, even when the broader socio-economic system may exert its considerable influence. In this act of tying his tie, Larry reclaims a measure of agency, subtly asserting that he refuses to be entirely subjected by the relentless demands of capitalism. In a world where every second is meticulously and coldly optimized by the capitalist system, Larry's seemingly mundane action becomes a powerful statement of resistance. It embodies the idea that amidst the constant pressure to conform and to maximize efficiency, one can still carve out moments of self-expression and autonomy. S tier. Next up is Rhyme, and I Terra Grass and click Petal Blizzard 4 times. You get a boost to all stats when you Terra in this fight, and you get a boost to your attacking stats when you knock out the first mon. With Petal Blizzard, my cat 2 shots both the Mimikyu and the Banette, both of which go for Shadow Sneak, and 1 shots the incoming Toxtricity and Houndstone. So I guess it was actually 3 times, and not 4. This intro starts with the strategic zoom on the microphone. This serves as a visual cue to discern the source of her strength. This deliberate focus on the mic suggests that her power emanates from her ability to communicate effectively and command attention. Additionally, the choice of an upward camera angle when framing Rhyme's face, coupled with her pointed gestures directed downward, creates a distinct visual hierarchy. This composition implies that she holds an elevated status compared to the player. It accentuates her authority within the context of the gym battle. The masterful culmination of this somatic portrayal lies in Rhyme's closing action, the forceful jutting of the microphone towards the camera akin to wielding a weapon. This dramatic gesture reinforces the notion that her microphone is not just a tool, but a source of empowerment. It symbolizes her unwavering resolve and confidence in her abilities. A tier. Next up is Tulip, and I finally get to use the strategy I thought back in the Kofu fight. She leads with Frograph, and this one does have a Psychic type move, so I can Nasty Plot turn 1 and turn into a Dark type, making me immune to the incoming Zen Headbutt. The best move she has after that is Crunch, so I can easily get +6. I then Terra Dark and Terra Blast my way through her team. This is actually where I realized using an offensive Terra type with Terra Blast is just kind of cheesy. I think if I didn't do this, I would have gone with Terra Dark, Hone Claws, and Sucker Punch. I think that probably also works. Didn't try it. I just don't have a huge amount on the special attacking side that hits very hard other than Terra Blast. So this is the first time I've done one of these type of runs in Scarlet and Violet, so I'm just still trying to figure out what type of rule set I would like to use. I don't think I end up doing it for the rest of the run, so that's something. For intro, I don't know, she's got like a butterfly thing. It's kind of boring. It's D tier, I would say. Also, she has the audacity to not at least add a spin. I feel like a spin would have gone pretty hard here. Next is Grusha, and of the androgynous Pokemon characters in this game, I'm more of a Rika fan. Grusha just really seems to be full of himself and like he's above all this, and it's just not very charming to me, in my opinion. And honestly, I'm not giving him a ranking. I feel like he wouldn't want one anyway. Anyway, I open with terastallizing my cat into a fire type. Defensively, it walls the moth since it only has ice and bug type moves. Honestly, I think really any decently fast fire type mon wins this fight for free. Doesn't really even need to be that fast, since the Altaria is the fastest mon at 80 base speed. You really just need to stall out Tailwind if it's set up. It's a pretty easy fight, and I'm only kind of saying that out of spite. Anyway, I set up some nasty plots and I win. Now, on to Elite Four. First up is Rika. I'm gonna be honest, I originally felt like this one was gonna be super easy. We have a positive matchup versus her all week to grass team, but this one took a lot longer than I had hoped, since all our mons are so gosh darn bulky. Well, I open up with Nasty Plot and get rid of my ice type weakness due to Protean. Thankfully, the Wish Cache misses anyway, so doesn't end up mattering. Being a dark type, I know that Wish Cache is either going to go for Earth Power or Muddy Water, so I Terra into a grass type and resist both of these. I would prefer Earth Power because it doesn't come with the chance of an accuracy drop, which can be very annoying. The Wish Cache is now going to go for Blizzard, which I don't think I can survive, so I have to go for the knockout with Energy Ball. The Camerupt then comes in and is also quickly knocked out with Energy Ball. The Donphan has Sturdy, so I break the Sturdy with Leech Seed, which has the benefit of giving me some extra health back. I actually need this extra health for the mon that comes out next, Dugtrio. Dugtrio outspeeds and has a chance to knock me out if I don't get that extra HP. Instead of trying, it goes for Sandstorm instead. The Dugtrio has Sandveil, so there's a chance I can mess. I don't, and we move on to the next. Next is Poppy, and for fans of Stall, I have a treat for you. She opens with her Steel Elephant and open with the set of Charm, Shadow Claw, Leech Seed, and Protect. I'm also running Terra Ghost for this one for a reason you will see later on. I open with mixing a Leech Seed into contemplating if I should just reset here, into not resetting and hitting a Leech Seed. I then go for Protect first rather than Charm because I want to be normal type rather than fairy type because of Heavy Slam. And also, I don't want to have to Terra into Terra Ghost yet, which again we'll see for a reason later on. I then alternate protecting and going for Charm. I eventually Leech Seed the Hippo out and the Covernight comes out. This is the reason I am Terra Ghost and haven't shown it off yet. This Corviknight has Body Press, which is a fighting type move that does damage based off of its defense stat, and not its attack stat. This means that Charm won't do anything to the Corviknight. The reason I save Terra for this moment is because I'm normal type, and I'm baiting her into using Body Press. I can take this opportunity to Terra Ghost, get off the Leech Seed, before it can even damage me. Probably going to speed through most of this one, because watching me click the same buttons over and over and over and over and over again isn't that interesting of content, but this one was for you Stall fans. Next up is the Goat Larry, and for this one I am using a hybrid Stall offensive set. I have Hone Claws, Protect, Grassy Terrain, and Play Rough. I also have Terra Steel on this one because it completely walls his lead Tropius's combination of grass, flying, and dragon type attacks. I want to stay as healthy as I can for later on, so I play this opening part as carefully and slowly as possible. This part takes longer than I would hope because I want to be at full health, +6 attack, and knock out the Tropius as the sunlight fades. This is because my cat outspades his Banana Man when the sun isn't up, and I won't take any extra damage. Next comes out the Straptor, and this is the reason I have to have as much health as possible. It doesn't outspeed my kitty, but it does have Intimidate, lowering me to a measly +5 attack. You wouldn't think that would matter, but for some reason, +5 Play Rough won't one-shot his final Flamigo. This means I need to get off one more Hone Claws. It can't be on either of the birds, because they both have close combat, and it can't be on the Sky Chicken because it has Flamethrower. So I have to take my chances with the Cheerleader, who only has a neutral Revelation Dance. My kitty tanks, and we can knock out the rest of his mons. Finally, we have Hassel. In this one, we're also running Semi-Stall with the same exact set and Terra type as the last one. His lead, Noivern, is pretty annoying because it is walled by Terra Steel, but has the move Super Fang, which always takes away half of my kitty's health. I'm able to set up a Leech Seed and purposely stay at less than half health because he doesn't seem to want to use Super Fang when my cat is in that range. The rest of his attacks do barely anything, so Mo is able to tank and get to +6 and outspeed and outsweep his team. So now we're finally on the champion. And I'll admit, the first run I did of this game, I thought she was kind of a pushover.
I wasn't really familiar with your game.
This time, she really came to play, with the fireball jutsu and everything. Okay, so I opened with a set of Charm, Giga Drain, Nasty Plot, Swift with Terra Grass. Every move in this set is vital, even Swift. I start with Nasty Plot, which turns Mo into a Dark type, allowing him to avoid taking damage to her Lunar Crash. She doesn't go for Lunar Crash, but that was the reason why I went for it. Unfortunately, her Espathra is an opportunist, so it also gets the +2 special attack boost. This means I cannot fully set up here. From here, I Terra Grass, knowing that a fairy move is coming. I then use the move Swift. The reason I go for this instead of the higher damage move Giga Drain is Giga Drain doesn't one-shot, and I get more HP back when I do less damage with Swift. I then knock out the Espathra, and out comes the Bazula, threatening with Ice Fang. Bazula is bad, so I know I can tank one Ice Fang, so it gives me opportunities to set up another Nasty Plot. It ends up missing the Ice Fang, but trust me, it tanks it. I then knock out the Spike Fish with Giga Drain, and I'm back at full health. Next, the Iceberg comes out, and it is also threatening with an Ice-type move. I also know that I can tank this, so I go for my third and final Nasty Plot. Mo tanks, and I can knock it out with Giga Drain, getting me almost back to full. Next is the King Gambit, and this is why I have Charm. I can safely charm down the Gambit and keep my health up with Giga Drains. It goes down after 2, and her final obstacle comes out, Go-Goat. He has the ability Sap Sipper, which makes him immune to grass-type moves. He thankfully goes for bulk up a bunch of times, so I can freely charm him down to -6 and finish him off with Swift. The Glamora is also here. That's pretty much the entire run. Before I go, here's the final tier list, by the way. If you enjoyed this video and want to give it a like or subscribe, but not both, I will be checking. I would really appreciate it, and if you want to give me a comment on how you would tier the intros, I will most likely take a look and judge you for it. Thanks and goodbye.